Everyone, how are you? Thanks for joining us. This is the first episode of the Earley Show, where I aim to provide you with value and information, do some entertainment, just to give you some good insight into the legal profession. And today we have a special guest. We have attorney Joshua Robbins on our call today. Hi, Josh. Thank you very much for taking the time. I appreciate it.
No, thanks for having me. My pleasure, Chris. Always great to see you.
Always good to see you. So Josh, he's going to tell you a little bit more about himself, but he's an employment lawyer who handles specifically employee cases. Josh, is that right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I work for the Moore Green Law Group, located in Boston, and we represent clients all over the state and all over the U.S. But yeah, it's the Moore Green Law Group. We strictly practice employment law, and we work with individuals, regular employees. We don't represent companies. So yeah, we that's our niche. That's our focus.
So I brought Josh on the show because, as a lot of people know, a lot of lawyers out there are, kind of tough to deal with. But Josh is one of the good guys. He's someone I trust. I refer you cases because I know you guys are, trustworthy people, and you're gonna do good by the people we refer over. So, and I appreciate that. So thank you for always being willing to, check out a case. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no, thank you. I really appreciate always thinking of our office. We take the time to really, look at everyone's situation, and we're hopeful we can help them. And if it's not something we can assist them in, we try at the very least to point them in the right direction. Whether it's something that might be with unemployment, it might be, frankly, sending them back to you because we might think, oh, there's a personal injury or some other angle that you could assist them with, or at the very least, there might be non-legal resources that we can direct them to. So yeah, always happy to look at people's situation to see if we can assist them.
Now, I think I met you. You reached out to me a few years back, I believe, because I didn't know you, and you just sort of reached out, and we tried to connect, never did. Then we grabbed lunch one day, and I think that was good because that's sort of got us connected and helping one another with referrals and helping people out. So I think that's where it started, right? You reached out to me. Do I have that right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, I find myself often, the people I interact with the most are clients and the people in our office, and I don't get a ton of opportunities to meet great attorneys such as Chris and other practice areas. So yeah, I was kind of just, surfing the web, and I said, oh man, this guy's got a great website. I should, he looks like a good guy. I'm gonna reach out to him. And it's been, history since then. Yeah, it's been a great connection.
No, I appreciate you're a very kind man for sure. So Josh, you're obviously a smart lawyer. You really kind of hone in on employee, litigation. I assume employee lawsuits. Could you if we just back up for a second, I kind of want to hear, from you in terms, because you, like me, I'm a dad, right? You have two young kids at home. So we're lawyers by day, dads at night, right?
Yeah. With COVID, it's the worlds are definitely blended. But yeah, I grew up in Massachusetts, went to law school at Suffolk Law, right down the street from our office. Practiced in a couple other areas first until I kind of found my calling in employment law, and have really loved it since then. I've been fortunate to have been married now for 8 years and have two great kids, a daughter named Madeline and a son named James, who are both in kindergarten and daycare respectively, but they keep
busy house, I bet.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's not quiet and boring, I bet.
No, but it's they make it they're very special. So it's great to be a father, husband, and attorney in that order. And so we've been practicing strictly employment law now with Moore at the Moore Green Law Group for 6 years, roughly 5-6 years. I'm losing count already. But yeah, we handle a wide variety of different employment matters. We work with a lot of C-suite individuals, CEOs, CFOs, executives, reviewing severance agreements, contracts, helping them in and out of employment positions. And I'd say that makes up about 50% of our practice. The other 50% is built around litigation, around sexual harassment, discrimination, unpaid wages, bonuses, overtime, commissions, unequal pay issues. Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, there's a lot of that occurs. So we're always pretty busy.
Good. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Doing good work, helping people out that obviously need your services. Now, could you just tell our audience, what got you into the law? What got you into this space?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I was on the verge of becoming a teacher, and I think what drew me to the law is I really enjoyed the ability to help individuals solve complex issues that they've reached a sticking point on their own for whatever reason. They can't solve it maybe with their employer, a colleague, a coworker, a subordinate, whatever it is, and they get to a breaking point, frankly. And I enjoy being able to come in there, identifying the issues, and hopefully trying to put them on a path to a resolution. And employment law is a great area of the law because it's diverse, it's constantly changing. New laws are being enacted regularly, and it's multifaceted. I mean, we don't even cover all of employment law because it's so in depth. And I think that level of complexity, plus also it gives us, you spend at least a third of your life working during the week. So
that's it.
Yeah, that's it. at least that's it.
Oh,
if not more. But being able to help someone who it's meaningful. It's different from a real estate transaction. It's different from setting up a will or a trust. It's the effects we see are meaningful and immediate for our clients, and that means a lot to us. So I that's what kind of drew me into this, and that's what I enjoy the most of our practice.
Well, I think it's smart that you guys sort of drill down and wide in terms of what you handle, because it's tough to be, what's the expression? You're a jack of all trades, but master of none, something to that effect.
Yeah.
So it's good, because you keep this way sharpening your saw, if you will, and just, improving what you do, fine tuning it. And that in turn, whether or not the clients realize it or not, they're being helped by your special, your focus on employee side. So what occurs to me is, the past few years, it's been a watershed time in society, the Me Too movement. Did that influence or translate into more work for you? Did you feel that in your practice?
No, absolutely. I think one of the great things about the Me Too movement is that it has empowered individuals to speak up and come forward, and they have definitely found us, and we've been able to support them resolve whatever issue they might be having, whether it's through the courts or negotiation or mediation. But the kind of prior to Me Too, there was this, fear of retaliation, and there's still a fear of retaliation, of coming forward or being ostracized or being singled out. And, I think the movement has made it more comfortable or made it more supportive for individuals to come forward. And I hope that trend continues.
100%. Because we get quite a bit of those calls. And also, you mentioned unpaid wages. I feel like that's such a common problem, which I don't understand. Not paying an employee what they're owed is sort of over. I don't understand. I don't get it. But do you see that a lot? Because we here get those calls. I don't understand.
So we see it a lot with hourly workers in the service industry, bartenders, waiters, in hotels, oftentimes because tipping's involved, and tipping is often ripe for abuse by management, by employers. And so, yeah, unfortunately, we see regular issues with unpaid wages, overtime wages, being misclassified as an independent contractor than as an employee. And yeah, like you think about it, like, how can someone not be paid their wages? And unfortunately it happens. I mean, there's unscrupulous employers, and it's just something we try to battle against and protect clients from.
Yeah, for sure. So in my world, handling personal injury cases, typically there's insurance available, right? There's someone injures our client, and then we pursue, a claim with the insurance company. Now, how does it work on your side with this type of work? Are you collecting insurance typically? You're going out of, is it an out of kind of pocket settlement with a particular employer? Like, how does that work in that space?
Yeah. Usually, sometimes with the discrimination and sexual harassment matters, there will be some insurance. It's not, some employers don't have that type of insurance, but
most have it.
No.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, no. For wage and hour stuff, claims, most employers don't have that type of insurance as well. So I'd say, unfortunately, the majority of our cases, any amount of money might be coming out of their pocket, out of the company's pocket or the employer's pocket, which it makes it more challenging when the employer might not have a lot of assets or resources, or it just makes recovering. It just poses, unfortunately, another obstacle and something to think about when evaluating options.
Yeah, and that's unfortunate for the employee in that situation, who really, goes through, quite a bit of difficulty, and then to find out there's something to collect. That must be a tough conversation to have for you, because I know on over here what we do. That's in the rare event there's no insurance. You got to tell someone, hey, there's no insurance. There are few if any assets, and people don't want to hear it. And I understand the resistance, but sometimes it is what it is, and that's frustrating.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think, workers' comp, it's always insurance. And do you find that even with the personal injury as well, there's mostly insurance?
Usually.
Yeah.
Usually. But, for example, Josh, like a dog bite case, right? If someone rents their home, they probably don't have any type of renter's insurance. Some people do, most don't. And that renter's insurance would be triggered to provide coverage in that situation. But that's a typical situation where dog bites can cause, horrific injuries.
Yeah.
Commonly with children. Dogs oftentimes, lunge at kids. But in that situation, we find frequently there's no insurance. And that's a frustrating conversation to have with someone who, no fault of their own, just like the employee due to no fault of their own, is aggrieved, is injured, is at a loss, and not much can be done. That's a tough part of our job, I feel like.
Yeah. No, I think that's a challenge sometimes. You just have to be mindful of, but and you navigate it the best way you can. Yeah.
100%. Well, what we really have in common, with our practice areas is representing, just regular people, right? Who are going against those big corporations. And it feels good, to sort of give them a voice. That can feel for me, very empowering to, be able to try to right a wrong, because once that, case concludes, and you get a really, grateful, appreciative client who, really thinks, highly of what you accomplished, that's really satisfying. And that, I think in large part why, you and me and most attorneys get into this is to do something meaningful. So it's always good when things work out, so.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I agree with you wholeheartedly. Yeah. One of the best feelings is getting a positive resolution for a client and knowing that you made some difference for them, some meaningful impact. Yeah.
Doesn't happen always, right? Sometimes,
no, unfortunately, yeah. No, I wish we could all the time. I wish I could tell every client that came in the door, we're going to be able to do this, that, or the other thing. But unfortunately, we can't. All we can do is, you can just try your best and see what happens.
Exactly. What's the lion's share of your cases? You know, you talked about a few different things you really dive into. Is there one or two types of cases that takes, you know, kind of comprise the majority of your caseload?
Yeah, I'd say for right now, probably 50% of what we're doing is built around various negotiations. You know, someone needs help negotiating with an employer around a non-compete or a severance agreement, or moving in and out of a position and how to bridge that transition. And then the other 50% is really, I'd say, sexual harassment and handicap discrimination or disability, is, you know, handicap or disability.
Really? Does it happen a lot?
Yeah. Around, you know, people might have underlying health or medical conditions, and they might need to work remotely or be able to get a larger monitor because of issues with their eyesight, or be allowed to take you know, time off from work for a medical appointment. And you know, sometimes employers just aren't flexible, so they don't accommodate them, and that's kind of where we can step in sometimes and try to correct that. But yeah, I'd say sexual harassment and handicap discrimination are two of the largest right
now. You know, in the personal injury space, there's just such keen competition. You know, just there's always competition to get the best cases. What's it like in the employment space with competition? Is there similar competition, you know, for these types of cases? What does it look like from your side?
Yeah, I mean, I think whenever something negative happens at work, unfortunately, many employees think that it must be illegal, and Massachusetts is an at-will state, and sometimes things happen at work that are unfair, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's illegal. So we frankly spend a lot of time screening out cases, because we empathize, we agree with the client, you know, potential client 100% that it's unfair, it's not right, it shouldn't have happened, but we're not sure we can get a positive result and that it will rise to a legal violation. So, you know, circling back to your question, is there? Yes, there's a lot of competition. There's a lot of employment law firms out there. It's a matter of spending a lot of due diligence up front with clients, really sifting through, getting to know the client, trying to really assess what various outcomes there might be. And but yeah, like you, there's a lot of competition.
A lot of lawyers, and it's a small city, so you know we're competing with those for sure. Two things you brought up, which to me I can relate to with at will. You know, employees are at will in Massachusetts. We get calls all the time here of employees that were terminated, and almost always we have to, you know, say we can't really refer to anyone because we don't think there's a case, because it's just the nature of the system being at will. And that can be that's a tough pill to swallow, I feel like, for a lot of employees who've lost their work. And especially in the context of a pandemic, I just feel like it's been a tough climate out there. But you mentioned at will, and that just, we see it all the time, hear all the time, at least. It's unfortunate, but that's the law we have to deal with and work with.
Yeah. No, I tell clients, hey, listen, this is how I might see it, and I hope I'm wrong, and I encourage you to speak with another, you know, employment attorney, and you know, get another opinion, second, third, fourth, if you have to.
It's tough.
It's definitely tough. Yeah, absolutely.
100%. You also use the word empathy. To me, that is huge as an attorney, right? Because I think a lot of law offices, it's sort of kind of like license registration, like law office, you know, it's cold. And
yeah,
I think you hit the nail on the head. Empathy, that people want to be heard. And because I look at this as not being in the law business, but more the relationship business. People at least call our office, they're in a low point. They're probably in a low point when they call you as well. They don't want to call a lawyer, right? It can be a high barrier, you know, to get over. some attorneys have unfortunately created a stain on the profession, right? Tarnish it. So you and I obviously are the good guys who sort of have to, combat that image. But again, it's all about, because you and I think oftentimes, I know we both oftentimes have to deliver bad news. We started talking about that before. But if you can use empathy with no matter who you're talking to in this field, I think people really appreciate, and I think it makes you stand apart. I think it's so important.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I think most people we speak with have never spoken with an attorney before, so they're not sure what to expect. They're scared. They're unsure. They're concerned we might call their employer.
Oh, wow.
And so just trying to put them at ease and give them some comfort and reassurance that, yep, we're going to hear you out, and let's take it a step at a time. And but that takes time. That takes time.
100%. So I know in my area, it's, we kind of have an ideal client, like an avatar client who is, easy to work with, right? We try to attract, easy clients and repel those that are maybe not so easy to deal with. So for us, an avatar ideal client would be someone who's reasonable, and there's a clear case of negligence and a clear path to recovery. In your office, do you guys have a similar sort of avatar client who you sort of really enjoy go to bat for, particularly someone who just really kind of satisfies you as an attorney?
Yeah, I mean, I think clients who are who we're on the same page in terms of strategy, expectations. There's a good level of communication. We're responsive to each other, and like you said, reasonable, and we're kind of in sync. I think that's the most important thing. I think once you get out of sync, you have different views of the matter, you have different expectations. That doesn't really, you want an attorney, you want a client who are, you basically form this partnership, and that you're going to go
100%.
through you're going to go through whatever this is together. You're going to each do your best and let the chips fall where they may, and understanding that, that's kind of clients that recognize that are ideal clients. Yeah.
No, I hear you. You said expectations. I think that's the name of the game. I guess the two E words, empathy and expectations. Right? If you can get those down and really, incorporate those two things, setting expectations from the start. If someone has a small case that may not go anywhere, say, we'll give it our best, but I want you to know that you have a tough case. And I'm sure it's similar to in your office, right? You have to be sometimes just given the brutal facts. And I think people appreciate that. You level with them, and from my experience, people, they don't love it, but they appreciate it. Very few resist the truth. It is what it is. So that's what it is.
Yeah. No, I absolutely. Yeah, I think you and if you can't get on the same page, then it's helpful for the client to find an attorney who they are on the same page with, because attorneys have all different styles. And there might, similarly, there's all different types of clients. Not every client is a fit for an attorney, and vice versa. So,
yeah. I mean, and that's the thing, I said before, I feel like we're in the relationship business. Sometimes that relationship, attorney-client relationship, more times than not, it's, we take on a case, it's a successful outcome. Sometimes things change and the relationship takes a different course. And then unfortunately, sometimes we have to, part ways. And that's the nature of the beast. I see that, from my seat. I'm not sure if you see that, but at the end of the day, we're just trying to, perform our best, the highest ethical standards, because that's what we're supposed to do.
Sure.
And make sure, if things get sour, between the attorney and the client, I think there has to be a discussion about moving forward. Because sometimes that, in all relationships, it gets stale, and a change is needed. But thankfully, clients in Massachusetts are free to, choose, those attorneys that, or attorney that they want. And So, and that's part, and we get to choose as well who we represent, right?
Mhm.
It's a voluntary kind of coming together of, help people out and people choosing you to allow them to help them out. So, well, clearly, you guys are doing a lot of good work. Could you tell us, Josh, how do people get in contact with you?
Yeah, no. They can, call us at any time, even if we're not there. We have a service that you'll speak with someone live. So you can call us 617-936-1580. We have a great website, moragreenlaw.com, that has a contact form. It also has our email on it. And you can email us. We understand that, clients are anxious about their situation. So we do everything we can to be as responsive as possible. So you can call us, email us, find us through a website. We'll get in touch with you ASAP.
I appreciate you. Keep doing what you're doing. And you did a really nice job being the first victim of the Earley Show.
Oh, good.
Crackerjack job, 100%.
No, this was good. So it's